Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Hey, how's it going? I'm Kirk of Effectatron, and today I'm going to show you this
crazy idea I had about taking a Rokoko suit, metahumans or characters, and an elevated Magnific AI to make them real people. So you can literally create any stock photo you want of anyone, any camera angle, any lighting scenario, any place, any time, literally 100% control. It would be nuts. And Rokoko has sponsored this video. Thank you so much, Rokoko. There's going to be more coming as well, and we're definitely going to do more sci-fi stuff because I love it. And we're going to go beyond metahumans. I want to do characters and things. I want to figure out how to take like other characters like Kratos and stuff, and like other characters from video games and stuff, and smash them into a metahuman and things like that, because it's just so cool. And the small video is prepping you for what I think a few years is going to be like standard. Okay, so we're going to create almost photorealistic people in realistic control with all the subtleties that Rokoko captures with a face cam and all this stuff, and the body language, all that stuff that AI kind of has a tricky time with. But we're going to take that and elevate it with AI. And because we have such a good base mesh, we could take that, and the renders are looking fantastic straight out of Unreal. We could take all of that and then we plug it into AI to enhance it. We barely have to enhance it just a little bit so we can get character consistency across everything. And this is going to make the whole process user, it's like a very natural workflow. It's like this, you get about 95% there, and then the AI takes it a little extra bit further that right now it's like you do in post, but I think in a few years that's going to be pumped in live. And I think this is going to be the way things go. Like this is like I'll be able to like act out a scene as a metahuman, and it will literally look like I'm a real person talking to you in real time. It's going to be nuts. But we're close too. That's crazy.
So yeah, buckle up. It's going to be fun. Okay, so in case it wasn't clear, that was me. So I had the Rokoko full body smart suit, the smart gloves, and the head rig for the phone holder. I'm getting the head cam, which is going to work with Android, and there's some exciting news coming with the head cam and metahumans as well. But yeah, I'm going to show you in this tutorial. It's kind of a very basic, quick and dirty, like how to literally take any kind of animation, how easy it is to go from Rokoko to metahumans, and rigging and retargeting your animation, because it is crazy easy, and it's the whole thing is going to be like around like 30 minutes. So it's just wild to me that you can go from, opening up Unreal Engine, and like I probably have like 20-ish hours in Unreal Engine total, maybe 40. So I'm very new to it, but it just flows well and it makes sense. And I know a lot of my C4D users, this is still going to be so easy that you can do it. And again, this is free. So, food for thought. But again, a lot of you Unreal people, there's some really cool things we're going to cover. We're going to cover how to, bring in your metahuman. There's lots of tutorials on how to create those. It's very easy. Just Google metahuman creator and you'll get there and you'll make your metahuman, obviously. And then when you bring that in, we're going to show how easy it is to take whatever full body face tracking animation, all this stuff, and just like with like 3 clicks, put it on your body, rigged and ready to go. And then you can literally rinse and repeat with whatever character you want. So it's just like infinite possibilities. You record the motion once and then you literally have infinite actors and actresses to do that animation, which is wild. And it's so easy. And then it renders out this whole thing you saw, that whole video rendered out in 5 minutes. That's insane. That's so cool. All right, and then we're going to take all of that, and the whole thing's kind of this concept, in case you couldn't really follow if you're just staring at that metahuman like I was the first couple of times, not listening at all to what I was saying. Basically, we're going to take stills from that animation and take them into Magnific AI and up-res them and enhance them so that they look like real people. And it's like really cool because we can keep character consistency much easier without prompts or anything, because we have such a good looking base model with the metahuman. So you can really upscale and create whatever kind of stock photo you want. And obviously the whole thing's just about the concept of, I think this is kind of the future, where I think eventually we'll have that kind of AI enhancement kind of being pumped in live. while we're doing it. I think you'll be able to just kind of do that in real time just as fast as you could do the rest of it in real time. So I think, we'll be able to real time capture my MoCap and upscale it in Red. I think that's happening in the next few years, like for real. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy how crazy easy it is to do this. Okay, so I know a lot of you are C40 users, but if you're not, like, this is literally so easy. You can never have opened Unreal Engine and follow along and do this, okay? So here's what we're gonna do. First, you're gonna open up Unreal Engine. After you sign up with Epic, sign in with your email address or whatever, you're going to go ahead and open up the Unreal Engine. We're going to use at least Unreal Engine 5.5 for this. Now, 5.6 actually has some new features with topology where you can actually take things that aren't metahumans and retopologize them into the metahuman workflow, so you can use like stylized characters and things you download, which is crazy. And then 5.7 has even new features coming, and there's even more stuff coming with the Rokoko and that as well. So that's coming down the pipe. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you got Engine 5.5 at least installed. And I'm not going to walk you through how to do that. You should be able to figure that out. And then we're going to go ahead and just open up a new project. And when you open up a new project, so it doesn't matter what you choose because we're not putting it on a mannequin. We're going to start with an empty scene, new level. We don't need any of the starter content. So the main thing we want to do is we want to go up here to Edit and Plugins. And inside the plugins, we have to type in Metahuman, obviously. Enable those. The SDK is the big one, and the Metahuman as well. And then we also want to type in Rokoko. And if you don't have Rokoko, this is only if you're using the Rokoko suite. If you're not using the Rokoko suite, you can just use motion capture software or like a skeleton from whatever motion capture program you're using. But Rokoko's is the best, and that's what I used. And so we've got Rokoko Studio Live. It's very easy. You just follow. Like, if you ever have any questions with Rokoko, for real, their tutorials are perfect. Like, I have, a total hour of like probably 20 hours in Unreal Engine. And, and then when it comes to mocap characters, I've used Rokoko for like an hour and I feel like I can do whatever I want, which is, the part of that bottom 40% thinking there in the top 5%, but I know enough to get in trouble, but I don't know enough to know that I don't know enough. You know what I mean? All right. So we need that. And then we also need the core. It's called like performance capture core. You want to make sure you have that on as well. Very cool. Okay, so once you have those on, you need to just go ahead and it'll have to restart once you have those. Okay, here we go. So inside of Rokoko Studio, all we need to do is, double check our thing here. Follow actor. Here we go. So we can, make sure we follow our guy all the way and everything looks looking good. Definitely always want to double check before you hit record that everything's good and calibrated and looking good. But we've got our facial capture going. It's not a blank face. We've got our fingers and everything working. We've got our hands, our legs. Everything's looking good. We've got all the information here. We've got the bodysuit, the left hand, right hand. Now, there's nothing here that shows the face, but the fact that the face is attached here is there. And you want to make sure that you attach it to the actor. Again, I can't stress that enough. That I had to redo one because I didn't have that. Okay, but we've got it all going here. And all we need to do to export this is click this little filter kind of switch looking thing up here. Export options, presets, and choose Unreal Engine 5 Newton. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and choose. So we can do 24 frames. That's fine. And obviously, just so you know, like, I feel like this is obvious, but maybe it's not to everybody. It's not going to record audio. Okay, so you want to record audio separately if you're going to do this in post. And they're actually talking and everything, because you're going to want to sync it up later. We do want to export all actor individual files and uncheck that. And that's it. And we can just hit export. So 111 is probably going to save a copy of that. But yeah. Okay. And once that's done exporting, we can open up Unreal Engine. So inside of Metahumans, we want to make sure we go to local. And then we have our Metahumans here inside of Bridge. We go to our human presets. Sorry, the local Metahumans. There I am. Click me. We want to make sure I choose cinematic quality, download, and then add. And I think I just added myself to the scene when I click that little blue arrow. And so here I am, Blueprint Derek 5.5, because I'm terrible at typing, but it's supposed to be 5.5, which get to a point. Anyway, so yeah, there's our guy. All we can do is drag and drop me in, and there I am. And we can go over here, whoops, and zero this out, so I'm right in the middle. And there we go. Okay, that's me, looking good. Nice overweight body. So to figure out what your skeleton is inside, because we do need to know our skeleton, double click your blueprint here. It's going to open that up. And again, a lot of this seems like a lot of weird steps, especially if you're not used to Unreal Engine, but it's very easy to follow and rinse repeat once you're done. Okay, so like we're like rigging and everything, we're not gonna have to do any of that. It's just gonna instantly work and it's gonna be magic. It's great. So the first thing I'm gonna do when we double click our blueprint, which I'm not gonna explain that, you don't need to know. Okay, we're not worried about like understanding everything we're doing. We're just understanding how to use our metahumans right now. Okay, we're going to go down to the LOD sync, which is the level of detail sync, and we're going to force the level of detail to 0, which just is going to be the highest quality. We're going to say compile. Okay. If there's a little question mark there, it means something's changed. You need to compile it, which is basically like saving it. Okay, it's like apply the settings. Then we're going to go to our body, our little skeleton here, and we're going to just look at our skeleton mesh. And you can see it's just little hands and ankles. It's very bizarre. But if we've got M underscore med underscore OVW underscore body, that's overweight. Okay, in case you didn't know. Not large, overweight. Okay, I get it. I'm working on it. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and just close that because we don't need it right now. And now we can go ahead and bring in our MoCap data. You can right click and create a new folder if you want. We'll call it MoCap for whatever. I don't know how many folders I've made of this already. So we're going to go ahead and open that folder. And all we can do is go to add, the little add button right here. And then the import button, import to. Okay. And instead of here, we're going to open up wherever we saved that export out of Rokoko. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to click right here. And we're going to go to FBX Animation. And that's just going to allow it to filter it out for 1, but 2, it's going to bring it in the right way. And this may be fixed, but by the time you watch this, but it's just an easy solution here. Here we go. 111 is what we just exported out. So we're going to say open. It's going to ask us some questions. We want to make sure that skeletal mesh is checked, import mesh is checked. And then the main thing is you want to make sure you have import morph targets checked because we want that. Morph targets is going to be your face, your Mighty Morphin face morph targets, okay? Second thing, you definitely want to import animations because obviously that's kind of what we're doing. We don't need to worry about the skeleton and stuff here because we're not going to like hook it up to a character or anything like that when it comes to like a playable game. We're just doing cinematics, so we're not worrying about that. Everything's good, import. And again, if you like need to double check stuff, Rokoko, just search Rokoko UE 5.5. They have some amazing tutorials. They're great on that. All right, once that's in, you can see it's brought in our animation here. And we can double click this and it'll open up and I'll be able to see our animation, which is cool. There we go. It's me walking around. Everything's looking good. Great. Now, how do we attach this to this guy? It could not be easier. Right click, go to Retarget Animations. And instead of here, we're going to go ahead and go to the target skeletal mesh. And we are going to type in M underscore medium. And you should start seeing there's the narrow body. That's for my other character that I brought in. But I want the overweight one. Don't forget. Okay. Medium overweight body. There we go. And so it's just really bizarre. It's just hands and ankles. I'm sure that does it for somebody out there, but no. Look, that's all we need. That's good. So we're going to say export retarget assets. Cool. We can go to MoCap 4. Good. And then we're going to click the animation here and go export animations. And we're going to type in tut here for the prefix. There we go. Check with unchecked at the top. That's fine. Boom. All right. Now check this out. This is where it gets crazy easy. Okay. What we're going to do is to create like videos or anything, you need the render movie queue, right? Or the whatever. So you're going to go ahead and level sequence. So we're going to go ahead and click this clapboard, just like you do in C4D when you're ready to render stuff. We click that, and what we can do is say add level with shots. Okay, cool. We're going to call it tut, and we're going to spell it correctly. There we go. Create level. Boom. All right. Wow. There we go. There I am looking all serious. There's our camera and stuff. That's fine. All right. So all we have to do now is grab me this blueprint and drag and drop it right here. Now this is crazy, okay? This is just a metahuman thing in Unreal Engine. Boom, automatically rigs it like that. Facial rig, everything. And like I was saying earlier, with 5.6, you can now like retopologize any mesh to go to like work with this system almost. And that's nuts to me. Because like I didn't have to rig it. It's rigged. It's rigged. You know? Blah, blah, blah. But we don't have to do this because guess what we're going to do with this amazing, cool rig? We're going to delete it because we don't even need it. All right, so we're going to scroll up. And here, Metahuman control rig, delete. Face control rig, delete. And here underneath the body, we're going to hit this little plus button. Boop. And we're going to go to animation. And here, when I type in tut, we should filter out our tut animation sequence. We click that. And that is literally it. That's it. We're rigged. We're going. We're copied. We're live. Now, my hands do clip into my side, and I haven't fixed that at all because I'm using the larger scale body than the one recorded. So you might want to keep that in mind. Partly is my rig is really just a little bigger than I am. That's really what it is. Yeah. So let's go ahead and extend this out to like, I don't know, 2,000. It looks like it goes further, 4,000, 8,000. There we go. There's the end. And so we can just grab this and go to the end here. And we'll switch this to 24, which is what I exported out in. There we go. And what's this? 4,100 and something like that. So 4,115, sure. Okay, so here we've got the entire animation all the way. So here's me talking, right? And the first time I ran into this, I noticed, it took me a while to notice, but then I noticed, scary as hell. No, that my beard is going nuts. Now, I had to look up a million things to find this. It's very common, but here's what's happening. And it's a very, very easy fix. But I want to say it's just, isn't it insane? We can pull our shot out further all the way. But isn't that crazy that you can just literally do that? And so then when you want to change it to a different character, you bring in that character and you literally retarget it to that skeleton and then drag and drop that metahuman in, set the animation to that, and then boom, you're done. Like I could have an army of different people doing the exact same thing or a bunch of different animations. It doesn't matter if you have Rokoko or not, but Rokoko makes it so easy to do exactly what you want to do, which is insane. So yeah, here we go. Okay, so we've got that, and we just want to fix my beard because it's going nuts. And I don't like the fact that it's got these crazy physics going on. It's very stretchy. All the rest of my hair seems fine. It's just the beard. So we're going to go into my metahuman here. And what we're going to do is, instead of here, we go to Derek, we go to male hair, go to hair, and then here's our beard. We're going to double click our beard. And instead of here, we're going, it starts off in this LOD option. We're going to click this little interpolation tab. And instead of here, what we need to do is right down here, there's RBF interpolation. Turn that off. Save. That's it. Now our beard's fixed. We're good. That's literally it. It's just this weird glitch right now. Okay. But yeah, that is literally it. And if you're seeing, looks really low poly or something weird, it doesn't look this epic, like it looks like this, like Toy Story 1, it's terrifying, right? That's your scalability set on your engine mode. So what you can do is go over the settings here and swap that up. And obviously your GPU is important for this kind of thing. And you're going to want an RTX and all that. But we can change it to cinematic. Boom. There we go. Cool. So it's a little tricky because you want to make sure you've got those shots in here. So we've got camera cuts here instead of shots. So we shouldn't have done the shots. Just do camera cuts here. And it's going to go ahead and bring in a camera actor, send a camera actor for you. You're going to want to make sure you pilot that guy around and not the one we were using. Okay. And now you can set all that stuff up, do whatever you want. And again, you can click to focus if you want. It doesn't really work, but it's fine. We'll say like 500, do the draw plane. There we go. Pull it in. Say whatever. Yep, boom. Cool, right? And this is all going to be dependent on your shot, whatever you want. So let's just talk about how to export this out. Either your still frame if you want, or your render out your video, because I know a lot of people want to know how to do that as well. It's very easy. Again, the main thing is like setting up the lighting and stuff. So you're going to want to use lumen lighting and stuff. Most likely, if you do path tracer, you're going to have to fix the eyeballs, which isn't that big of a deal. It's like an opacity thing, but you can look that up if you need to. But there's not really that big of a difference, honestly. Lumen's kind of nuts. Because what we're going to do is we're going to upgrade all of this through whatever. So the main thing is like you're figuring out this like, the cool thing is like, okay, once you get your shot how you want, right? Like you have your guy doing whatever he wants to do, right? Something like this. Now, the one thing you also want to do is you want to make sure you turn motion blur off. And you're probably going to want to use the post-processing volume for that and everything. But if you need to do it with your camera, you turn that off, because when you are using motion blur, And when you want to upscale something, motion blur jacks it up, especially still frames. If you're exporting out a still frame and you have motion blur, it's a mess. So what we can do is we can render out the entire scene as a JPEG sequence and then just grab whatever shot we want, or we can do an individual frame if we want. But yeah, let's just talk about how to export this out, okay? So let's say we want to start at about frame 200, okay? That's fine. Yep. And we're going in and out of focus, and I don't want to do that. I want to kind of have that focus a little more. So what I'm going to do real quick is just go ahead and add a post-process volume here in the visual effects. Okay, just to make sure that's there. And that's going to be kind of where we do a lot of our lumen settings and stuff. But the main thing I'm going to do is we're going to type in infinite IMF and infinite extend if we want to do that. Yes, so it's going to apply that to everything. And this is where we can type in motion blur and do the amount and set that to 0. Okay, that should override our camera stuff too. But we'll see. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Maybe. But here we go. We're going to our camera. And what I want to do is I want to go to the lens settings. And I want to, just raise the aperture. Okay, right. So the focus settings here. That's manual. That's good. And then the aperture, we're going to raise that up, which is going to, make our depth of field wider. So we got 22 aperture. So now everything's in focus. Should be fine. The fact that we're doing an auto exposure is good. So we don't have to worry about that. Just whatever you want to do, all that stuff's its own thing. So how do we actually export it? Okay. Click this little camera right here. Boom. Clapboard. Click the clapboard. Unsave config. Now there's a whole lot of you can do this, you can do that. There's a billion tutorials about them. But they're all very overcomplicated, and a lot of them do things that most scenarios don't actually need. Okay. Here's what we need to do. We're going to go to the custom playback range. We're going to say about frame 200 to, let's just say, frame 4000 for the sake of this tutorial. There we go. Now, we're going to add anti-aliasing. Now, there's a lot of people that do like numbers here, and then here's what you do. Okay, you go override anti-aliasing, and you choose the temporal super resolution. Okay, that's your best option right now until they add like DLAA in here and stuff. That's gonna be great. But yeah, that's all we need to do right now. You can up the spatial sampling if you want. That is what I would do. If you're not doing motion blur, you don't really need temporal sample count, which we could use MSAA if we wanted to, or just none, and it'd be fine because we're not going to deal with it. But this is going to be fine. We'll do this, and that's it. That's literally it. That's all we have to do. Output. It's going to say where it's being sent to, stuff like that. What it's going to be called, frame rate. That's it. You don't have to do anything else. You should accept, and you say. You want to make sure before you hit go that this camera is set to this camera, which is great. Now we're going to say render local, and it's going to render that out. It'll show you a low quality render, compile the shaders, warming up, and then you're going to see we're going to render 3,800 frames. And if you're doing this in Cinema 4D, I'd say we'll check on it tomorrow morning and see how it's going. But since it's Unreal Engine, it's going to take about 5 minutes, if that. Because it's a very, very basic scene, it's going to apparently take about 30 seconds. So that's nuts. But everything's looking good. This is the right camera angle. Looking great. Cool. So it's just exporting out all of those frames. And again, this is the low quality version. But yeah, once you bring in some cool area lights and stuff, you make it dark, put it on a green screen, whatever. That's it. And I think you can figure out how to do that stuff. When it comes to using area lights and stuff, if you're brand new to Unreal Engine. And if you're not, there's lots of tutorials on that. This is more about like the workflow and the idea of going from Rokoko to Metahuman to AI. Okay, so rendering out. Okay, let's say this is done. It's fine. It's going to take a couple of minutes, whatever. Okay, boom. Now, here's a cool thing. Okay, we can close Rokoko Studio. Here's the crazy thing. Okay, we've got our guy there, right? So if we had just other metahumans to be brought in, like I have here with like Hannah, right? Hannah, bring her in. Boom. Again, we would just look at her skeleton and see what it is, and then rinse, repeat with the MoCap settings, retarget to that skeleton, then drag and drop her body into the sequencer, and then boom. Set it to the animation. She's good to go. All right, so now we're going to take those JPEGs and take them into Magnific and talk about the settings here to upscale them. You can use whatever you want. Magnific right now is kind of the best option for this, in my opinion, as far as like ease of use and the ability to trial and error. It's like $40 for 1 month, so I'm going to cancel it, but for now, we'll see. So all we got to do is go to Upscaler right here, and we grab our picture. Okay, so I have some here that you can see, like this was my metahuman that I just made it nighttime and I put 2 area lights in it, but we did the exact same workflow. Okay, we can look at him real quick. So, you know, like this is what he looks like. Like he looks good as a metahuman on his own with just a couple area lights. Very good. This isn't like upscaled or anything. Right, so it looks pretty good. So we're going to take him, and what we're going to do is we are going to come down here, and we're going to choose the optimize for portraits hard, and we're going to say creativity 1, HDR 1, and fractality -3. And we're not going to touch anything else. We're not going to do a prompt. We're not going to do anything, and we're going to choose a Magnific Sharpie. And we're going to hit upscale and make sure it's at ×2, or else you're going to burn through your credits crazy fast. And so you could render it out in a lower res if you wanted to, and let it kind of fill in the gaps even more. But we'll see just how it takes him from being a metahuman into being a real human. And you can scroll down here, you can see with up close shots, it doesn't do as good of a job, or maybe I haven't figured out how to make it do quite as good of a job. It has some terrifying results. But there are some that are really cool. Like this is my metahuman. It came out blurry, and I accidentally was out of focus, but turned it into a real person. Again, real person. And again, real person. This guy, look at this. This is before. This is the metahuman. After. Absolutely nuts. Terrifying. Again, same thing. This guy. Whoop. That is crazy to me. Like it works great with old people. But yeah, like, so now you can see like how, all right, let's see if it's done. It is done. It's not done. To the top, please. Yeah, here's our guy. Okay, this was the shot before. And then after our settings, do you see this? This is showing up on the video because look at this. This is before. Okay, before, after. Like the consistency that we'll be able to get between shots, and like the fact that you can come in here, and we did shots that were like of him looking over his shoulder, like I talked about, like shots that you need that you can't get with camera angles and stuff like that with a lot of stock footage and things. You can get whatever you want. Boom. Now I did change the color of her eyes, but I gave it a little more creativity there. You can adjust all kinds of settings. But what I've noticed is that resemblance is a bit of a lie, and the main thing here is creativity and fractality and HDR. You want to, subtlety is the best. When you give it too much freedom, it goes nuts, which is weird. Here I am. There's me. There's me. Me. And you could try prompting it as well. And when you prompt it, you can increase the fractality to like 2 or 3 if you want. But that's probably it. But you see, this was me with my crazy beard and motion blur. And even though it looked good, the edges were always crazy. So that's why you want to make sure you turn off that motion blur. But look how, like, from here to there. Crazy. This one, me. You can see the potential here, right? And obviously you could take all of your frames and roll them through it and burn through your credits and actually upscale your entire movie. But I do think that there are going to be video upscaling things, and there probably already are. I don't think Magnific does it yet, but I bet Topaz AI could do it. I don't know if it's going to make them human or not. I haven't looked into it, but I'm sure there are. But it's just food for thought that this is the way to, one, make stock footage of exactly whatever you want, of whoever you want, from whatever camera angle, whatever lighting, and whatever scenario, perfectly. And then you could obviously just cut this out in Photoshop or whatever very easily. And once you have it, the animation and the facial expressions, you can just build a library of that stuff. You can do it with anybody. You don't have to do any more shoots. It's just that easy to hook up a metahuman into it or whatever you want, right? And it doesn't even have to be a metahuman. It can be a character from Mixamo or the character creator, whatever. If it's going to have facial stuff, if it's not from Metahuman, you want to make sure that it uses the Apple AR face kit for it. But I think they've got some more solutions coming in as well. So stay tuned because it's always updating, and man, is it getting better. Crazy. Let's go ahead and grab one from our shoot just now, right? So we've got Rokoko, Rokoko 2, there we go. So you got your saved folder wherever you put it, movie renders. Here we go. Here's me. Now, obviously, I didn't black out the background, which I think helps a lot. So I would do that probably. But let's see just how well it handles, just like something, what we got here. All right, we'll grab this picture and we'll go ahead and just say upscale. And we'll let it go. And we'll see what it does. And then we'll call it there. And just let me know what else you guys want to see. Because, you know, the 5.6 thing with retargeting, like I want to dive into metahumans. Like I am ready to dive in. I'm still going to do C40 stuff. But I am ready to, you know, be Kratos or be a space marine or be an astronaut. You know, I'm ready to do this stuff. I love the metahuman workflow with the Rokoko suit. It just makes it so easy. So yeah, if you're thinking about doing anything with actors or photo shoots or anything, and you think, well, you know, actually, if I just got that suit, it might save you some money on shoots, reshoots, anything like that. You know, it's up to you. Totally up to you. But obviously, it has a ton of uses. But here we go. Ready? Pretty good. Pretty good. Now, obviously, this is like not the greatest looking shot to begin with, but it does make me look pretty real. Okay, so like this was me, my metahuman pointing. That, right? That's me. It's a little too, it went kind of crazy. I still had the motion blur on, so it messed up my thumb, but it's pretty wild. It made me pretty rugged. Look how much better that looks. But then it also screwed up her hand. It didn't know whether her sweater was skin, so that's terrifying. But that's a good one. This is that guy. This is that guy yelling. That's crazy. That's the girl. That's Hannah, the metahuman. Sometimes I like to just give it no prompts. Now, one thing I did notice is that teeth freak it out. But obviously, you're not going to see your teeth. Like, you're not doing that many terrifying shots for a thing. But pretty crazy. You put me in the rain, even made my hair wet. That's her. That's me. Motion blur. This was a really cool one. Okay, so is that the original? What's the? So this is one that I thought looked so good. But yeah, so that's the idea and the general workflow of recording yourself. You know, this is the Rokoko. It's really easy. Once you get your suit calibrated, you just hit record and then do it. And then you hit stop record. You want to keep it under 5 minutes. Then you bring it into Unreal Engine and a metahuman. And you literally can retarget it, drop it into the sequencer, delete the rig, and click animate this. And then you are good to go to do all of your creative freedom with lighting, whatever you want, just like that. So you could build environments, build everything, then take it into AI, enhance it, and make it a real thing. Put yourself in whatever scenario you want or whatever you want to do. It seems like really cool for photo shoots and stuff like that, for like cosplay and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, and see you next time.